Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, and welcome once again to Sherri Clip. I am here with author Jason Drake. Jason, welcome to the show tonight.
Hello, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Great. I'm so excited to have you on. I've actually been talking to you for a little while, finding out so much stuff about you. Now, to our listeners, and what I've written on our link is that you're an author and you've done so many different things in your life. Can you kind of give us an insight about who you are and what you're all about?
Oh, well, thanks. I'm just a regular guy who likes to be funny. I guess it comes from my upbringing, as I'm half Irish, half sarcastic on my mother's side, and I just like to entertain. I did a cable access TV show for 9 years, 346 episodes. We convinced 88 celebrities to appear on a cable access TV show. I don't think that's ever happened in Chicago. And I still get no respect, I tell ya. And I wrote a book, You Stay Classy, Wedding People, the most hilarious wedding story book you'll ever read on a Thursday. And if you're not, it's available on Amazon, and if you're not 100% satisfied, I guarantee to give you absolutely nothing back. That's right, $0 back.
Now, what exactly made you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to write a book about You Stay Classy, Wedding People? There's got to be a story behind this.
There are 112 stories behind this. I have been a wedding videographer since 2005, and at every wedding, all the photographers and myself would be seated for dinner, and we'd all swap our crazy stories, and everyone would laugh at my stories. Not being one to just let that go, I had to add jokes and impressions, and they laughed even more, and inevitably somebody always say they should write a book, and well, I did. And that is You Stay Classy, Wedding People, available on Amazon, on sale now. And it is 112 short stories about crazy things that have happened. But I've read other people's crazy stories, and they were just depressing. I wanted this to be fun. I didn't want to just regurgitate an event, so I would have to add my 2 cents. And there's jokes, there's pop culture references. This book is a flat-out comedy. So if you like long walks on the beach, if you like to laugh, this book is for you. And this book has many objectives. There's, like I said, a ton of pop culture references. So if you just like things like that, 80s movies, music, it's all there. And as well, it helps people who are getting married so they don't screw up their day like the people in this book did.
Oh, I want to cry for the people who did. It's funny.
Oh, yeah, some of these stories are horrible.
Oh, no. Can you give us an example of one of the stories in your book that really, really stood out to you or that you'd like to share with people?
Sure. So every story is broken down into category. There's a chapter on DJs. There's a chapter on wedding planners, venues. Pretty much any category in a wedding has its own chapter. There's even an author screw-up chapter. A videographer chapter. And most of the stories are about a page long, but I have a Zilla chapter for Bridezilla, Groomzilla, and a Famzilla, and each one only gets one story, but these are the best of the worst. And the Zilla chapters are about 10 pages, so they didn't just do one thing to earn this honor, they did many. And the Groomzilla showed up at his church ceremony in a chauffeured Rolls Royce. Very classy. 10 minutes after the start of the ceremony, no bride. So the photographers and I and the priest are out on the front steps looking for the bride. Finally, this tiny little blue Nissan shows up being driven by the bride. So if you just joined us, to recap, groom, chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce, bride, self-driven tiny blue Nissan. And the priest was so taken back, he mentioned the ceremony. And here's the big thing is this little part here was not even in the top 5 of the worst things that this guy did that day.
No. That's scary.
Very. So, but like I said, it's my goal is to have a joke every paragraph, and I didn't quite get there, but I came a lot closer than you'd think. I am a movie quoting machine. If any wedding story happened that relates to a movie I saw, it's in there. And sometimes I reenact scenes and retrofit them to my current wedding story. I mean, there's way too many references to the Road Warrior than you think there would be in a book about wedding stories.
Now, what comes to me is was it American Apple Pie Wedding, or that movie?
Oh, American Pie and American Wedding.
American Pie Wedding, yeah.
Yes. Pie was the first movie, and then I think Wedding was the third. But yeah, I didn't see that one because that was they peaked at the first one.
Oh. So this is funny. So you did videography for weddings. I
Yes.
mean, you must see things. You're saying you obviously you've seen a lot, but I mean,
yes.
Is that what kind of kept you doing that? Is the humor that came
what
out of
kept
it?
me doing it? No, what kept me doing
Yeah.
it was getting paid. So the crazy stories are just perks that go along with it.
Right.
And I do try to help future brides. I give advice, so hopefully they can learn. I mean, and this comes from years of experience. So what I'm about to tell you now, you're only getting because of my 14, 15 years in the business. So you may want to write this down. This is one of my number one advices. And are you ready? Don't do 8 shots of vodka before the ceremony. So that is an exclusive you're only getting because of my 14 years experience.
Okay. That's definitely a thing not to do.
I know, it's surprising. I didn't know that
Imagine.
either. Somebody had to tell me, and I had to write it down because I did not believe that. A best man did that, and he did a face plant during the ceremony, landed right on his face. Bam! I have it on video. I saved it. It's in slow motion. It's glorious. But the funny thing was, this happened during a song during the ceremony, and the trainers rushed out on the field, and they took care of him, took him off, and the referee said play on. So all the groomsmen took a slide to the left, and the ceremony kept going.
Oh my goodness. I've seen a lot of videos on Facebook that have to do with like things that happen at weddings and stuff. And some of the things I just can't even believe. Like dresses getting torn, people falling over. It's sad. It's actually sad. Funny. Sad.
Well, yeah, you would think getting dressed up and looking your best and paying a ton of money would bring out the best in people, and really it brings out the worst across the board, either bad behavior or stupid behavior. Take your pick.
Do you think it's because they're in front of family and good friends that it really doesn't matter to them, after a little while?
It could be that, or it could be what is it? What's the word for alcohol? Oh, alcohol. I think that's it.
Right. I've known a lot of people to get married and not have alcohol for that reason.
I've actually done some of those weddings, and those did not have anything happen in them. Literally, the dance floor was empty for an hour and a half. I stood there for an hour and a half with an empty dance floor while everyone just sat there and looked at the empty dance floor.
Oh my goodness.
And that's the thing about these stories is I don't have to make anything up. They are that stupid and crazy on their own.
Right.
But I do have to add jokes. And if you're a big Kanye West fan, there may be a joke or two or 37 about the great Kanye West.
Oh my goodness. So can you give us an example?
Let's see. Oh, sure. Okay, so excuse me. So the photographer and I were seated with the guests, and at this particular dinner was a family style. which if you don't know, it's 4 or 5 plates of different kinds of food, and you get to eat as much as you want. So after everyone took their share, the photographer said to the table, "Is everyone done?" And we kind of looked at him like, "Yeah." And he proceeds to pull out a whole stack of Tupperware. And he starts emptying his dishes into the Tupperware. And we all sat there and stared at him with this shocked look on our face, like if somebody said Kanye West was a musical genius, that kind of look. And server came over, and she said, "Can I get you anything?" He said, "Yeah, another plate of each." And he did it again. And the photographer I told that story to, he said, "Wow, that's classy." And he didn't even know I was writing a book. And yes, it was. In addition to little jokes like that, I actually catalog all the dumb things that Kanye has said and comments on it. And if you like stupid celebrity behavior, this book is a nice literary accompaniment for that, as I document a lot of stupid celebrity behavior and how it relates to a crazy wedding story, and then I give my 2 cents. Or in Kanye's case, my $200 cents.
Now,
and in case you don't recognize any of my the movie influences and movie references, I have an index in the back of the book, because I pretty much reference something almost every paragraph as well. And so, my mom was like, "Well, that's nice, dear, but I don't know what any of this is." So just for her, I put a reference index in the back of the book explaining what each reference is. And on the plus side, it gives me another chance to riff. So when I do a joke on Kanye, and then you go in the reference index, I get to explain who Kanye is, and I get to take about 6 or 7 more shots. It's very nice.
This is great. Now, how long has it taken you to develop this book?
The book took 3 years. It took 2 to write and 1 to edit. I didn't want the publisher's editor to do it because they don't get my humor. Sometimes I type with a Canadian accent, among other things, and the joke kind of loses its appeal if I say, "Wow, what is that, a boot?" And I'm like, "Oops, I'm typing Canadian." But the editor would correct a boot, so then it reads, "Hey, what is that about?" "Oh, I'm typing Canadian," and that makes no sense. So I had to edit my own books to make sure that because I play loose with the language, I had to make sure that none of that was changed, and I had never edited a book before, so I had to teach myself. Excuse me. So that took a year.
Wow. So a lot of work went into this, and I'm estimating you said you were doing the videography for about 15 years prior to making the book. So
yeah, 2005 was when I started.
Oh, so you have seen a lot. You have witnessed a lot. I can't even imagine all the funny stuff that is in this book. Like, it makes me want to get it today and start reading it.
Well, it's available on Amazon.
On Amazon.
I'm sorry?
Now, do we just look up your name on Amazon and it'll bring us to it?
You should be able to type in the name of the book. You Stay Classy, Wedding People.
There you go. So just look that right.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there isn't. I prefer you type in the name of the book because there is another Jason Drake author on there who wrote a book about Ted Kaczynski, and so the picture of his book shows a picture of Ted Kaczynski with Jason Drake on the cover. So it looks like that's me. It looks like Jason has the picture, is the face of Ted Kaczynski, and it's like, oh, really? So I would prefer you type in the name of the book.
Right, definitely. So type in the whole thing.
Yes.
There you go. You Stay Classy, Wedding People. That's the name of the book. So you go on Amazon, type that in, and your book has a cover. Now, am I right? It has a cake and then a lady and a gentleman on it?
Yes, the gentleman, the groom, is coming at the bride with a steel chair, and she's giving him a drop kick.
I saw that. That's hilarious.
Yes, there might be a couple of pro wrestling references in this as well, including, I even do a printed Macho Man Randy Savage interview. Ooh, yeah, impression, that too. And all the illustrations are done by me. They are done in the style of clip art, although no actual clip art was used or harmed for the making of this book. These are originals, and I did it to look like that on purpose.
Nice. Now, I designed the cover of the book as well.
Yeah, I designed everything.
Awesome. Very cool. Now, do you have a Twitter for your book? You were talking earlier.
I do not have a Twitter. It seems like there's only two things that Twitter is useful for. It's bragging and then getting fired. And as much as I love bragging, I don't want to get fired, so I'm going to abstain from Twitter. Unless somebody pays me, then that's another story.
Right, and people can find you on Facebook.
Yes. The book has a page on Facebook. I have a page on Facebook. And it has a page on Amazon. And there is, and that's it.
Okay. So if anyone wanted to get in touch with you to find out any other information or to have you on their podcast, they can also look you up on Facebook and to send you an instant message. How cool is that? That's how I found, or you actually found me, I think, Facebook.
Yes, you have the most famous podcast from Massachusetts that somebody told me about, and I'm like, I have to hear about it. I have to do that.
So what do you think? Isn't this great?
Sure.
It's even more exciting that I have you on tonight and you were able to talk about your book, You Stay Classy Wedding People. And now you have about 13 minutes left. I didn't know if you want to get into talking about your new project or not.
Sure. My next... Excuse me, I'm recovering from a cold, but I could not miss the Sherri Clip Show on Blog Talk Nation. So I had to be here. My next project is I have a great idea for a Justice League book for DC Comics, so somebody needs to tell them.
Absolutely.
I have 16 issues done as well as 3 covers. This is a completed project. This isn't wishful thinking or just an idea. This is something that's done and ready to roll. And that's that project. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's that project. And then the more I film weddings, the more material I get for my next book. So if You Stay Classy Part 1 does well, then there will be a Part 2.
Oh, that's great. So you're still doing the videography for weddings. So that's another reason why people can get in touch with you right here on your Facebook.
Yes.
Or if they're listening to me and they know how to get in touch with me, I'll send them your way.
And anyone has questions about videography or you're getting a wedding and I need to know what do I do for videography, the first thing you do is you call me. And if I'm already booked, then you're out of luck.
Right. Let's see. So whereabouts are you located and how far are you willing to go to do your videography?
I'm in Chicago, and as long as somebody pays me, I will go where you want me to go.
Oh, nice. It's good to know. So Chicago, awesome.
Yes,
I think
the city of taxes.
Yeah. I've heard of that before. I'm in Massachusetts, so I'm way over here in the east. But is it just you who does the videographing, or do you have a team of people? How do you do that?
Excuse me. I shoot for several people. My skills are in high demand. I generally don't book my own gigs because I'm not a good salesman, to be honest, and I'd rather just have somebody set it up for me. But if something falls in my lap, absolutely. I am a fully serviced video production company. I just don't have the stomach for chasing sales.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're doing a great job. Just that, whatever you're doing, it's just awesome.
Oh, thank you.
To be able to write a book, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of info. Let's see.
Well, thank you.
Sure. And with the DC project, is that what I can call it?
Yes.
The DC project?
DC Comics,
Where
yes.
do you see this going, or where would you want it to go? What's your ideas?
Well, unfortunately, I can't give away my idea because it's for an existing property. And if my idea gets out, someone else can use it. So, but it's basically, it's an idea for a Justice League book. I have 16 issues done. I have 3 covers. It's a fully formed idea, but it's not something I can release because then someone else can take it. So,
right.
I just need somebody to tell DC Comics, and we're ready to go.
There we go. Well, we definitely have people who listen to the show who could probably get in touch with you and be able to find out more information about that. And
that would be nice. I'd be very appreciated.
Sure. Now, are you willing to take in ideas to write a second book on the You Stay Classy Wedding People too?
Oh, absolutely. It's the idea. Like I said, I shoot weddings every week, and every week I have something to add. So, I mean, the ideas are already forming a new book. It's just a matter of how much the first one sells if I can get another one.
Right. Well, let's ask anyone who's out there who has a bookstore or willing to, help us get this book rolling along. Share this link for the show tonight. We'd greatly appreciate it. And it's really something I think people should read, especially if you're going to get married. Do's and don'ts, things to look out for, and just have fun reading this, I would think. Just enjoy it. You don't have to be getting married.
Yeah, you don't have to like weddings. Somebody left a review on Amazon that says if you don't like weddings, the book doesn't care. It's still funny. There's way too many references to the movie Aliens than you think there would be in a book about wedding stories. So even if you hate weddings, you'll love this book because then you can laugh at it. I mean, this book, like I said, it achieves many objectives. While it is a self-help book and does give advice like how to give a great speech, this is a flat-out comedy. I am doing material. I review several episodes of the Flash TV show, the Fant Four-Stick movie, and I'm doing comedy material in this. So anyone likes comedy, this is your one-stop shopping.
It's great. I really cannot wait to read this.
And it's funny. I had a bridesmaid give a speech about how she went on the internet, and she couldn't find any place that told about giving great speeches, and I about had a heart attack. My God! But I actually have a chapter in here on how you give a great speech, and so what I do is I break down one of the greatest speeches ever given by me. And I break it down like the Zapruder film, and I outline it, show you how great it is, why it's so great. I walk you through the ins and outs, show you how to change the spark plugs and the oil, and then you can retrofit it to yourself. So that way you can swap in your own stories and use my outline to give a great speech yourself. That's
really great. So here people they can learn, but they can enjoy reading while they're learning. It probably will help not even just as a speech for a wedding. It'll probably help for anywhere you're giving a speech, right?
It can, absolutely. It can be used for any speech. It doesn't have to be about a wedding. And yeah, this is, I may have to even go into teaching at this point because I'm getting people to learn without even knowing they're learning.
True.
By the time they were done, they're like, oh, my stomach hurts. Oh, and I learned something. It's actually like the little South Park kids at the end of the book. They're like, oh, I learned something today.
That'll probably be me. I'm just saying. I've never had to write a speech, so here we go. This is really a different type of writing for you, right? Because I read that you wrote columns for sports and entertainment sites and.
Well, actually,
really
it's the same. Actually, it's really the same. my mother-in-law read this, and she said it sounded like Jason was just standing over my shoulder talking. Any other place that I've written for, I write like me, and it's very sarcastic, tons of references, and that's actually how that's why I've written all those other places. It's getting tongue-tied. That's how I got to do this book, was doing those other things and writing in my style. And that's how I even got to be my own editor, because I was writing for a football site, writing about the Kansas City Chiefs. And whenever I would get down on them, I'd call them the chefs after that commercial. Great googly woogly, who are the chefs? But they kept correcting it. And it's like, well, that's not a joke then, idiot. So they would fix it to say Chiefs. And so then when you say, oh, great googly moogly, who are the Chiefs? Well, that's not a joke. So those other experiences actually really helped in putting this book together, because when I learned how to deal with editors, which I can't, and how to do it myself.
Right. Now, have you ever done stand-up, or not really? No.
Well, not at a club, but I mean, when I do book readings, I'm doing stand-up.
Right.
I've done several readings, and I don't know if you've seen any of the videos on my Facebook page. I'm not like just reading from the book. I'm doing it like it's a stand-up routine, and that is actually something I'd love to do, because it's I wouldn't be doing anything different. So I get up, I talk for 12 minutes, and I make everyone laugh, and I'm done. Yay, thank you. So I guess so I am doing stand-up, just not at a comedy club.
Right. Now, have you done a book signing at all, or is there any future ones coming up?
I have none on the horizon. I just did one last month. It's up on my Facebook page. And it's funny, as soon as I say I don't actually read from the book, somebody asks me to read from the book. So,
of course.
Yeah, but normally, I don't go up. If you've ever been to a book reading, it's so boring. They just stare at their book and they read in a monotonous tone for 20 minutes. It's like, it's kind of like the speeches chapter in You Stay Classy, Wedding People, available on Amazon now, where people they drone on and they drone on, and nobody cares. They lose interest. So I absolutely approach it like I'm doing stand-up. I don't take notes. I mean, I have them if I need them, but I don't have them. I'm not reading from them. So I like it. It's neat.
It's really great. Well, I really hope you can get some more, signings in, because that's really a big thing when you're getting a book out there. And I'll do my best in this neck of the woods to really talk about your book and get it out there as well. And if anyone wants to look up your book, you're welcome. They can find it on Amazon. Easy enough. Yes. Go to Amazon and put in You Stay Classy Wedding People, Jason Drake.
And actually, Jason, you just reminded me, I have the memory of a dead elephant. I'm going to the Kankakee Strawberry Jazz Festival on Sunday, June 2nd or 3rd. So I'll have a table, and I'll be signing books there.
And whereabouts is that?
This is Kankakee, Illinois, near where the Bears practice.
Excellent.
So once the information gets... Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome.
Once the information gets finalized, it'll be up on my Facebook page if anyone's interested.
Oh, yeah, please do. And please be sure to share it to me as well. I'll send it out there as much as I possibly can.
Absolutely.
Okay? Well, Jason, it was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to your book and talking to you again, and hopefully we can have you on the Brian and Sherri show at some point as well.
Yay. Yay. I'll break out my Bert and Ernie impression.
There you go. Perfect. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to tonight's show, Sherri Clip, and keep an eye out for that book. Everyone, go to Amazon. You Stay Classy Wedding People by Jason Drake. Thank you, Jason. Have yourself a great night.